Hello, Spartan fans. It's good to be back with you again. This week, we'll preview the football team's upcoming matchup with Charleston Southern.
We'll also find out how the volleyball team did in their home tournament and what they have coming up this weekend. We'll also talk about tennis for the first time this year and see what's on tap for cross country. So much to get to on this edition of the Spartan Sports Zone coming up right now.
Hello and welcome back to our weekly program, the Spartan Sports Zone. I'm Chandrea Lee of the NSU Sports Information Staff, joined by Mike Bello, the Assistant Sports Information Director. Football was off this weekend, so we turn to Mike, who will recap what happened with volleyball.
After 2 weeks on the road, the volleyball team played its first home matches of the year as they hosted the Spartan Classic at Eccles Hall. Charlotte, Bethune-Cookman, and UMES came to town to measure themselves against each other and NSU, and by the end of the weekend, a clear pecking order had been established among the four. Norfolk State and Charlotte opened the tournament on Thursday night in front of more than 200 fans. Unfortunately for those in attendance, the Spartans could not give them something to cheer about in the end, as too many hitting errors doomed NSU in a 3-0 loss. The Spartans did rebound on day 2 of the tournament on Friday the 13th, overcoming some early deficits to take down Bethune-Cookman 3-0. The duo of Jessica Johnson and Angie Darkus carried the NSU offense to the tune of 26 kills combined, including several late in the first and second sets that helped the Spartans climb out of a pair of holes. After giving up leads the previous weekend, head coach Brandon Duvall was pleased to see his team rally against the Wildcats.
They did what we asked them to do, which is be relentless in the entire match. We are still at the process of working out a lot of issues that we have. Our passing has been very good, our serving has been good, but when it comes to execution, blocking, and hitting the ball and having our range, pick up our range with the outside hitters, we struggled still a little bit, and that showed this past weekend. But the best part about this past weekend is they never gave up.
On the third and final day of the tournament on Saturday, senior hitters Goda Yanko-Skeda and Coralie Jarema and setter Darcy Moore lifted NSU over UMES 3-0. The Spartans got a measure of revenge in their 25-15, 25-17, 25-18 victory, defeating UMES a year after Hawks rallied to take down NSU here in Norfolk. That loss ultimately kept NSU from winning first place in the MEAC North. Despite UMES having a whole new team this year, it was still a big win over the defending conference champions.
I know the upperclassmen, this was a big game because since we've been here, we've never beaten UMES. And last year they came in here, we were up 2-0, and they still came back and beat us. So beating them was a good thrill, and it was good, exciting for us to start the game.
UMES defeated Bethune-Cookman to finish 1-2 over the weekend, while Charlotte also defeated Bethune-Cookman by a 3-0 score to finish undefeated for the tournament. Johnson and Yanko-Skeda were named to the all-tournament team. The tennis teams are beginning to kick off their fall season too. For more on that, let's turn now to Chandrea Lee.
Thanks, Mike. The Norfolk State women's tennis team opened its fall season over the weekend at the Liberty Fall Classic in Lynchburg, Virginia. Freshman Lisa Gordieva picked up a pair of victories in the Flight 2 bracket. Gordieva defeated Christopher Newport's Jackie Gain, as well as West Virginia State's Andrea Sluzarisic. Both the men's and the women's tennis teams will travel to Washington, D.C. this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to compete in the George Washington Invitational. Coming up later on the show, we will hear from football head coach Pete Adrian about this week's opponent, Charleston Southern. We will also hear from quarterback Malik Stokes about how the Spartans used their bye week to get on the same page with each other on offense. All that plus more coming up on the Spartan Sports Zone.
Secure your future by getting a top-notch education only at Norfolk State University. With world-class faculty and facilities, a bustling campus life, and highly regarded programs in the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology and the School of Business, Norfolk State is one of Virginia's leaders in higher education. Founded in 1935 as a beacon of hope to the region's youth, more than 78 years later, the university remains a source of inspiration for those in the Hampton Roads region and beyond who aspire to fulfill their dreams. A military-friendly school in one of the largest military areas of the world, Norfolk State University is home to faculty researchers who have forged partnerships that have created cutting-edge virtual learning environments. With more than 30,000 alumni, Norfolk State has played a vital role in our community in the past and is serving in a critical role today, and will continue to be an academic leader in the future. Find out more at nsu.edu. Norfolk State University, infinite possibilities.
Welcome back to the Spartan Sports Zone. The Spartan football team got its only bye week of the season out of the way last week and went back to the drawing board trying to get better in all phases of the game. With the team off, it's time to get you caught up with the Spartans after 2 ball games. On the offensive side of the ball, NSU is paced by Rolandon Finch, who has shouldered most of the load at tailback for the Spartans. In 2 games, Finch has gained 126 yards, averaging 63 per game. Joseph Hawkins leads the team in receptions with 5 for 73 yards and the only touchdown the Spartans have scored to date. The quarterback play has struggled to start the season, with both Malik Stokes and Tyler Clark getting the majority of the snaps thus far. NSU's third quarterback, Omari Timmons, played well in limited action versus Rutgers, completing several passes late in the game. On the year, the 3 quarterbacks have combined for 218 yards and the 1 touchdown. Having that week off was very beneficial for the offense, as the extra practice allowed the players the opportunity to not only rest, but get back to the basics.
I mean, with a week off the bye week, it's always good, especially if it comes after, a rough start. And, we had a rough 2 weeks, and the bye week gives us some extra time to kind of rejuvenate ourselves, get healthy, get back in the film room and correct some things, make some changes to our offense that we think is going to help us moving forward.
On the defensive side of the ball, it has been a group effort in the truest meaning. Marcel Koch leads the team with 18 tackles, while 8 other players have double-digit tackles. The Spartan defense has 9 total tackles for loss and has forced 3 turnovers for defensive coordinator Mark DiBastiani. The defensive backfield has been solid, led by Darren Merrill and Marcus Center at cornerback, and Keenan Lambert has also played well at the strong safety spot. Up front, NSU has seen its share of large lines and has seen opponents start to wear them down at the end of the ball games, with NSU's offense struggling to keep drives alive. The defense has given up 400 yards per game against high-level competition, but has shown the promise of yet again being one of the best in the FCS. On the injury front, NSU has lost starting fullback Conley Smith to a broken fibula. He has already had surgery, and we wish him a speedy and great recovery. And after missing the first 2 games, offensive linemen E.J. Rogers and Blake Matthews have been labeled probable for this weekend's game. Now with more on the Buccaneers, here is Chandrea Lee.
It's time now to take a closer look at the Charleston Southern Buccaneers under first-year head coach Jamie Chadwell. The start of his first head coaching campaign could not have started any better, as CSU is coming into this weekend's matchup with the Spartans 3-0 with wins over Campbell, Shorter College, and the Citadel. Members of the Big South Conference, the Bucs are led by the backfield trio of quarterback Malcolm Dixon and running backs Christian Reyes and Zachary Frazier. Between the 3, they have either accounted for or been a part of all 11 touchdowns the team has scored this year. A dual-threat quarterback, Dixon is completing 53% of his passes this year and has 4 touchdown passes. Facing a triple option attack will give the Spartans something new to prepare for.
Well, they're going to be the first option team that we face, and I mean that's their primary offense. They run option all different ways. They can do the triple read. They can run counter option. They can run load option. So it's a different thing, different blocking schemes that you got to see. And of course, the other part of that is they usually don't throw the ball real well, although they don't do a bad job on 3rd down of breaking out of their option formations and trying to get to wide sets and trying to throw the football.
As a team, CSU rushes for over 200 yards a game and throws for 134 while scoring 28 points per contest. On the defensive side of the ball, the team is led by seniors Calvin Bryant, Will Hunt, and junior Demarius Freeman, who all average 7 tackles or more per game. The unit struggles against the run, however, surrendering 224 yards per game and 321 yards overall. The NSU offense, though, is quite familiar with the defensive scheme they are going up against.
Well, they're really a pressure defense. They like to bring a lot of pressure, much like what Maine did and, of course, what Rutgers did. So we're expecting a lot of pressure out of them. They're basically a 30-front defense. They bring it inside, they bring it outside, they bring it off the edges, they bring it everywhere. So that's one thing that we've got to try to hopefully work on and can defeat.
This will be the second meeting between the 2 teams after the Spartans won the first meeting in Charleston 33-3 2 years ago. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. this Saturday at Dick Price Stadium. The game is also designated as Community Day. You can get 4 general admission tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 drinks for just $40.
The NSU cross-country teams will also be in action this weekend after a week off. The Spartans travel to Princess Anne, Maryland this weekend to compete in the Cappy Anderson Invitational. The men's race is set to start at 10:30 a.m., followed by the women's race at 11:15 a.m. Following a midweek match at William & Mary, NSU Volleyball will compete at the Villanova Classic this weekend. It will mark the final non-conference tune-up for the Spartans before MEAC play begins next week. NSU will face a tall task when it faces Penn, Villanova, and Sacred Heart. Each one of those teams has notched significant wins so far this year. At 5-4, Sacred Heart comes in with the best record, which includes a 3-2 win over Rutgers. The Pioneers have also played the only common opponent with NSU, as Sacred Heart also defeated UMES this year by a 3-1 score. It's a team like Sacred Heart, as well as the host Wildcats and Penn, that the Vol believes will give the Spartans a good litmus test in their final regular season tournament.
These are all going to be pretty good teams. I mean, once again, it's another weekend of us having to play pretty tough competition. Villanova took a set off in Nebraska, so a Big Ten opponent. So kind of shows you how much they're competing, and we're gonna have our work cut out a little bit. We're gonna have to fight just like we did this past weekend against teams that probably may hit a little contact the ball a little higher than we do, may have bigger blocks than we do, maybe a little bit just more physical than we are at this point. But these are the teams we want to play, mainly because we want to compete against the highest level we possibly can, so we're more prepared going in the conference.
Villanova owns a 4-5 record this year. The host Wildcats defeated George Mason this year and also took sets from Oregon State and Nebraska, the latter, of course, a perennial national volleyball power. Penn stands 3-4 and has won matches with Delaware and Temple, and also took a set from an 8-1 Maryland squad. NSU plays Penn Friday at 4:30 p.m. and will take on Villanova at 11 p.m. and Sacred Heart at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. With one last tune-up before conference play, the Spartans are looking forward to clean up some of those errors, as well as continuing to get the freshmen acclimated with the rest of the team on the court.
We're still getting used to playing with new people, and you have to be used to playing next to someone you haven't usually played with last year and this year, so we're still getting used to each other, and also we're still just working on not making as many unforced errors, keeping the ball in play, and keeping the pressure on who we're playing and not making so many errors against ourselves.
For those fans that can't make the trip, Villanova will have live stats and live video for its matchup with NSU.
It's now time for this week's top performance. Our number one performer this week is sophomore outside hitter Jessica Johnson of the volleyball team. Johnson was named to the all-tournament team and led NSU with 25 kills over the weekend. She was instrumental as NSU made comebacks in the first 2 sets against Bethune-Cookman on Friday. And that will do it for this week's edition of the Spartan Sports Zone. As always, we would like to thank the Department of Video and Media Productions and Chantel Copes for all their help. I'm Chandrea Lee.
And I'm Mike Bello. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.